Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen James, the channel that brings you your team every single day. Right, look, we're going to talk a little bit of Ianis Hagi. We're still obviously in the international break. Scotland play tonight against Poland, and let's face it, it's all built up really. I mean, we're all focusing, aren't we, really on the Dundee game upcoming on Dundee United game. Sorry, upcoming on Saturday. That's got to be the main focus. Hagi, Ianis Hagi. What is happening with Ianis Hagi? Where are we up to with the whole Hagi situation? Now, look, there was a period, obviously, when Hagi was out of the team. He was with the B team. And I think, what was quite remarkable for me with Hagi was the fact that at all times he displayed the absolute right attitude. He displayed a positive attitude. He never chucked his toys out the pram. He never had a dicky fit. He never stormed off. He never refused to play, refused to train. He did exactly the right thing at all times. Trained, turned up, did what he was asked to do, participated in B team training, participated in B team games. Even though I think we all can recognize that he's a lot better player than that. He then obviously must have settled, we believe, the contract dispute that was holding back his ability to play in the first team. Although I don't think that was wholly it. I think that was just part of the issue. I think there wasn't a real issue between Phillipe Clement and Ianis Hagi. I don't think Clement wanted Hagi in the team. He then obviously returns to play against St Johnstone, coming on as a substitute, sets up a goal, plays pretty well, gets sent off, is suspended. Now he's back in the squad, obviously, was on the bench, hasn't featured, hasn't been used at all, despite the fact that Rangers really are lacking a creative talent, lacking someone to really open doors, lacking someone to really sort of create those chances, those gilt-edged chances that Rangers need to win games more convincingly. Obviously, as well, we've got the injury to Tom Lawrence. He is out for 4 to 6 weeks. So, you think, wouldn't you? Golden opportunity. Let's get Ianis Hagi in the team. Now, I know there's Rangers fans out there that don't rate Ianis Hagi. I don't understand why. He's a good footballer. Like I said, you go back and watch the Euros. He was one of the best players in the Euros. By a long streak, he played well against the Netherlands, who were one of the top teams in the tournament. He played well across the entire of the Euros, and it is still obviously being selected for his home nation. Hagi's a class act. He is a top class talent. He isn't the quickest, but I'll be honest with you. One of the arguments that's used, and we'll get to the whole Clement thing in a minute. So, obviously, please hang on for that. It is coming. But, in terms of this Tom Lawrence, this argument that Hagi's not fast enough to play Scottish football, that he's too slow to play the game. Well, raise you this. Tom Lawrence. Lightning fast? No, he's not, is he? Tom Lawrence is slow as sin as well. Tom Lawrence is not quick. He doesn't get about the park particularly fast. He doesn't use pace to go past people. He hasn't really got a trick in his locker to go past people. He's just not that type of player. So I think to level at Ianis Hagi that he's too slow to play football in Scotland, it's kind of insulting when, we're using Tom Lawrence. I know a lot of Rangers fans don't rate Tom Lawrence, but, the manager clearly does. I mean, witness the comment that he made the other day about missing Tom Lawrence's defensive skills, which when Lawrence is playing as a 10 is rather bamboozling. So, look, Hagi has been great. He's come back. He's played the right attitude. He's finally got himself back in the first team reckoning. But it does seem very much that Clement does not like him, doesn't rate him, and doesn't want him in the team because he hasn't used him at times when we could have really done with using him this period now that Lawrence is out. Didn't bring him on as a substitute at any point when he's been on the bench. Certainly has not used him. It appears that, according to a number of reports, the only reason Clement has put him back into the first team squad is to try and peak his value ahead of the January transfer window. Because if you've got a player in the B team that you're telling the whole world that you don't want, that you don't need in your team, that you're kind of broadcasting to them, well, come and get him for cheap because we ain't going to charge a lot of money for him, because we don't really want him. And clubs are going to come in and go, well, anyway, I'll give you $1.5 million for him or $1 million for him because you don't want him. You plainly obvious you don't want him, so you might as well send him, or else you're going to lose him for nothing. So in the first team, I think it was a bit of a business decision, a bit of a decision to kind of look at it in terms of let's get some money in, let's try and raise some money, and the best way to do it is at least stick him in the first team squad. At least we're kind of saying we do want him, but we don't want him, but we're not going to play him, so he's not going to get injured. And I think this is very much what is going on now. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of analysts that have looked at the situation and have kind of absolutely perplexed as to why this whole situation is occurring, why, you know, Clement isn't using him, isn't playing one of the best players we've got in the squad. You know, particularly, like I said, that we don't have Lawrence at the moment. We haven't really got a proper 10 there. Bayrami is a 10, but he's playing out on the left wing because of the injuries to Cortez and Matondo. There's no plans to kind of move Bayrami in there. You know, we've seen Dow come in and play there, Dio come in and play there, and not really do it at all, really struggle. And I think Dio was awful the last time he played there. Kieran Dowell is just genuinely dreadful. You know, moving, you know, even to some degree, moving Bayrami in there and putting McCausland on the left didn't work because McCausland can't play left wing. So it is kind of a perplexing decision not to at least try and use Ianis Hagi. Now, one former Rangers player and a Rangers pundit, Derek Ferguson, has been talking about the situation. And I think, you know, he got it right when he was talking about Clement. He says, "I'll tell you what, his mind says, I don't think it's in the question. If he's asked to go and perform and to get an opportunity, I think he'll give you everything." Talking about Hagi, I think that's the type of boy he is. Is he going to be the manager's first choice? I'm not so sure. I've got a feeling deep down with Clement, I don't think he likes him, to be honest. What he clearly needed, because we've been struggling with so many injuries, a deal had to be struck where we brought him back into the squad. So with Hagi, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves in the summer or in January, but what you're going to get with him is a good attitude. And if he has an opportunity to go out there and give you 100%, he will. But whether he's going to get an opportunity is a complete other question. And I think Derek Ferguson really has hit their nail on the head there. I think Phillipe Clement was left with very little choice but to bring Hagi back into the squad, given all the injuries we had, given the fact we've got, you know, a number of experienced players missing. They're quite clear the fact that Clement doesn't want to use the youth players for some unknown reason. You know, we're not seeing McKinnon, we're not seeing Rice, we're not seeing Lovelace, we're not seeing... I mean, Finlay Curtis has scored 50 goals in 38 games or something like that. Ridiculous. Isn't even getting a look in. I mean, Clement... I mean, when it comes to using young players and bringing in young players, Clement is an absolute liar. You know, he came in at the start. He said that he's not afraid to use young players. He's not afraid to blood young players. He's not afraid to give young players these opportunities, which, you know, we can now all see is an absolute load of bullshit. It really genuinely is. But, you know, the whole Hagi situation just doesn't make any sense to me. It really genuinely doesn't. The fact, you know, we're paying this lad 20, 21 grand a week. We're not seeing him. We're not using him. We're not playing him. And it seems to be just down to a stubborn manager, again, who will not change his mindset on something, you know. And it's all part of the overall weakness of Phillipe Clement, this intransigence, this lack of ability to move, this lack of flexibility. And, you know, a good manager, whether it's in football or whether it's in business or whatever, has to be flexible. If you are a manager who is stubborn, who, you know, doesn't change their mind, has your way of doing things and it's your way on the highway, then you are not fit to be a manager. You're not fit to run anything. You know, you really aren't. You know, as someone who, I'm a manager, not of a football team, but, you know, of a business, you have to flex and adapt and change depending on the situation. You can't just have your approach and your approach only. And I'll be honest with you, Clement is so stubborn, it's frustrating. And I think the stubbornness is what is holding this team back and what is really holding the club back. You know, as Monaco fans will tell you, that's what he did at Monaco. The sooner he's gone, the better, really, genuinely. The sooner this useless Inspector Clueless is gone, the better for the club. Guys, let me know what you think of what we've covered in this video. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, on the way out, smash the like, smash the sub, drop a comment, drop a share. That would all be absolutely fabulous. And always remember, please never forget, we are the people.